Now I know what you're thinking. Analysing the deeper meaning of the Barbie movie on the surface may seem like I'm looking a bit too deep into things, as it's just a silly movie about Barbie entering the real world. But when I left the theatre on that weekend in 2023, I was surprised. And if I'm being completely honest, I thought this movie would have just been a fairly unfunny movie about a doll in a real world, and for the most part, that's what it is. With a few genuinely funny scenes, but there were two scenes to me that stood out. I find myself revisiting them quite often. But first, let's rewind a bit. The marketing for this film was brilliant, and got many people who originally wanted to see the movie excited, and those who had no interest wanting to watch it purely because it released on the same weekend as Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. With both films having such drastically different tones and themes, this spawned numerous memes and excitement for the double feature that was Barbenheimer. And to me, while I was more excited for Oppenheimer, I'm not ashamed to say that I enjoyed this film just as much. The plot focuses on stereotypical Barbie, one of many Barbies who live in the fictional Barbie land. Stay with me. They live in a perfect life, but one day show signs of being, well, human. She starts malfunctioning and taking on tropes of being human. So she decides to go to the real world to find a cure to make herself perfect again. And that's what leads me up to the first scene I'm going to be talking about. Up until this point, the film has been a humorous, off-the-wall adventure. But then Barbie has to sit down to try to connect with this person who's been playing with her in the real world. In this scene, everything just slows down. And we see the plastic vessel of a character, one that's been slowly drip-fed human emotions and feelings, just sit. And she experiences the bond between a mother and a daughter, one that she has created. I think this works so well is because the character has never experienced these emotions and feelings before. They're an outsider looking in on humanity. Much like myself being a 20-something man who has no connection to this toy at all, I sat in the theatre with my partner that day and just saw how much these scenes meant to her, and those around me. And then after that, when she finally comes out of this meditative state, she sits and just looks at her surroundings and experiences life, people. She sees children playing, a couple fighting, birds chirping. Something I think most people in their day-to-day lives can take for granted. We see people laugh. We see people who are upset. All these things that make up who we are, all summed up in a few seconds. I think that's kind of... So yeah, after this, the movie then reverts into its comedy, and rightly so. They work to revert things back to normal. But that feeling explored slowly starts to creep back in. And then we finally get to the end scene. The purpose of this scene is to explore the themes of what makes someone human, and for someone who's never felt true emotions. Ruth Perlman, as well as being the actual creator of Barbie, is presented as a mother figure, and Barbie is presented as a daughter who is stepping out into the world. This is why I believe so many people got attached to this film. Barbie is a symbol of a bond between a mother and a daughter. Most girls had a Barbie, and so did their mum, and their mum, and so on. It's a physical thing in the world that symbolises a connection within family. But eventually people grow up, and those things that connected us during our childhood become memories. And we've just got to move on. Having said that, there's one more thing I think this scene touches upon, and that's so having said all that before, the one message most people took away from the scene was the relationship between a mother and a daughter. And while that's the most direct message, and the main one the film is trying to portray, I couldn't help but think about those without. The idea of those who have not had the best relationships, or don't understand how to articulate their emotions. They can sometimes relate to the feeling of not being a human, feeling broken, confused. And this scene sums up in a few seconds feelings of love, joy, innocence, just being alive. And for those who maybe can't articulate what it is they're missing or struggle to express it, I think this scene just does a pretty good job of helping capture what it is that makes you, you, and what it means to truly be alive. So yeah, I get if you don't like this movie, and people can argue back and forth about the topics touched upon, and yeah, go for it. But you can't take away from the fact these scenes truly portray something